If your room feels close but not yet done, it's not because you need to add more furniture. Typically, it's missing those final finishing layers. So hi, I'm Jonay. Welcome back to Make Room. This series is all about helping you see your home differently and creating spaces that truly work for your life. And today, I'm sharing the designer moves that we make that really complete a space. Let's get into it. First up, if you haven't done this, you need to install wall treatments. I'm talking curtains, drapes, something that's really gonna frame the space and make it feel more intentional. They can soften a space, they can control the lighting, they add privacy, and they're going to give your space a more elevated look. Now, here's my designer take on it. If you're going to be adding curtains, make sure that you go higher and wider. And you also really wanna make sure that they kiss the floor. I put up a couple examples here and here. Next, I want you to start thinking about the hardware, the fixtures, and the switches in your home. If you have some outdated pieces, this could be a really great opportunity to switch out the pulls there. If you're a homeowner and you've been wanting to make some updates, that's also a great solution. But even doing simple things like switching your switch plates that turn on and off your lights, those elevations for a bronze plate or something colorful and funky would be a great addition to really finish out the space. Next, start considering ways that you can add art or photos into your space. It's a great opportunity if you have a big blank wall, but also art is going to be able to anchor the space and add some personality. And in many cases, it doesn't even have to be expensive. You can make a piece of art. Art can be things like pictures, it could be family photos, it could be a canvas, it could also be a mirror, a basket, a mask. I've even seen great options where they put a skateboard on their wall. All of these things can be really great additions to your home and start making the space feel more like you, but also more finished. Next, I want you to start thinking about using plants and florals. Every space needs to feel like it has life in it. Plants can add movement into the space because they're very organic, the shapes, how they grow and how they bloom. They can add a lot of warmth, a lot of texture, a lot of depth to the room, but also it's just going to look nice and feel good. Now look, if you're the type of individual who's like, I cannot keep plants alive, there's also some really great faux options that are available right now. And if done intentionally in a very thoughtful manner, for me, I tend to mix and match. I love to have real plants and faux plants in my space, but it's a great way to finish off the space and add some life into it. The next thing that can really finish a space is ambient lighting, low lighting. Whenever you're using your overhead lighting, it's very harsh and it's always gonna feel a little uncomfortable and certainly incomplete. Layering lamps and adding in soft lighting is always going to add that mood into your space, that feel good. It's the element that's gonna make your space feel more calm and more inviting and more finished. Next, I want you to start layering up. Once you've got your foundational pieces, the way you can make your space feel more finished is adding layers, adding the throws, adding the blanket, adding in the rugs, adding any additional textures, textile, things that you can feel. Those are gonna be the pieces that are gonna make your room more finished, more lived in, more cozy, and somewhere that you just really wanna sit down and enjoy. Next, I want you to focus on styling. Now, spoiler, we do have a video coming up on that, so we're gonna get into much more details then. But for us, styling is the part that really starts telling your story in your space. And when we think about styling, it goes back to everything we've shared in this series so far about that editing process. Once you've done your due diligence to really edit your space and figure out the items that matter to you the most, when you start putting them on display in a very styled way, it's gonna be impactful because it's you, it's your personality, it's something that means something to you, and it's gonna make you feel like this space is mine. The next thing that's gonna make your space feel more finished is to roll out a rug. And I'm not just talking about those key areas like your bedroom, your living room, or even your office, but adding some runners in your entryway, in your bathroom, on your side patio, down a hallway. Because not only does a rug anchor your furniture and scale, but it also allows you to keep your home cleaner, flow through it naturally. There's just so many great things that come from adding a rug into your space. And it's one of those things that can really finish it off. And as we've already shared, bigger is always better whenever we're thinking about our main spaces. And for those side areas like a hallway, entryway, yes, we'll want to make sure we're taking proper measurements there. Next, I want you to add a scent to your spaces. This is actually something we do with all of our design projects. We typically create a custom scent for our clients because a room should really touch on all of the senses. It's something that's gonna really create memories. I know for me, there's certain scents that I smell and it takes me back to a certain moment, and I love to have that same type of feeling in my home space. So whenever you can start adding some smell goods to your space, it's going to make it feel better, but it's also gonna make it feel more finished. And if you're not into candles, that's okay. There's diffusers, there's room sprays, there's incense, there's so many ways. Ultimately, what I'm trying to really emphasize here is that we're focusing on the senses. We want the room to not only look good, but smell good as well. And finally, add personality. That's what's gonna make your home really feel like you, but also feel finished. And truthfully, everything that I've shared thus far is an opportunity for you to add some personality back into your space. Maybe that's a really bold rug, maybe it's a curvy switch plate, maybe it's a really funky hardware that you add to your pools. All of those moments that are quite inexpensive can be ways that you can really finish off your space and infuse your personality so it feels much more like you. And here's the thing, none of these items that I mentioned require a full redesign, it's just intention. When you layer them thoughtfully, that's when your space can feel much more complete. If you've been following along, you've learned how to edit, organize, and make some small, meaningful changes in your home that can really move the needle there. But next up, we're moving into phase 3 of our Make Room series, which is Design Like a Pro. And that's where I'm really gonna talk about how designers really think about layout, materials, scale, and investment, and when it's time to really start considering some professional support. So if you're not subscribed, now's the time to do it because that's where it's all coming together. Until then, bye.